What's up, guys?
Hey,
Hey, what's up?
Hey, so welcome to BlindSpots. This is episode 4 of BlindSpots. So, this is BlindSpots on a new channel now. So we are now coming at you on the Movie Hero Network. So it's formerly on Media Sweaties, and we moved over to the Movie Hero. So this is the place you'll be able to find it every week. We're going to try to do one every week. I mean, there may be a week here and there,
Right.
but we're going to do our best. So, basically, BlindSpots, we take a list of all the movies I haven't seen. So this is my personal list. That's why I call it BlindSpots. I haven't seen any of these shows, and then I throw a poll up in our group, which is now Schmodown Friends and Family, is where you're going to be able to find those polls, and I'm gonna have everybody vote. So they voted on 4 movies. This is the movie that got the most votes. So, but it's been a little while. We took a little break for the holidays. So
We did.
they voted all the community before Christmas time, and Turner and Hooch was the number 1. So, and we just put all the movies that I've watched. I forgot to mention that I just put on random.org. It's a big randomizer, and I just randomize it, and then I usually have about 10 to 20 that you can vote on, and then we'll do a review on the one that gets the most votes. And joining me today, we have my buddy Chris Scott, aka the Casablanca Kid. How's it going?
What's up? You've obviously seen me on other shows that we've done, like the movie Tier Ranker Fights.
Yep.
We're due for one of those, for sure.
Yeah, that one's probably coming up.
Yeah.
Maybe this weekend we'll kind of see. I'll definitely make an announcement in the group. So, but yeah, so let's jump into it though. So Turner and Hooch, I actually had a lot of fun watching Turner and Hooch. So, and it's one that growing up, I've never really been a huge animal lover. I mean, I grew up watching movies like Beethoven, or I watched what's that?
Homeward Bound.
Yeah, Homeward
Benji.
Bound. And then and Air Bud. That's the one that I was trying to think of. So I watched
and Benji.
Yep, and Benji. Yep, I actually watched some of those growing up. For some reason, Turner and Hooch never really caught my attention for whatever reason, and so I just never watched it, which is really weird because I've seen almost all of Tom Hanks's movies. I haven't seen them all, but I've seen most of them. So
I feel like I have 2 as well.
Yeah.
And I vaguely remember seeing this movie, and not really. I mean, I don't think I really loved it. I don't think I really hated it, but I was kind of like, it's an okay movie.
Yeah.
But I had so much fun watching this, dude. It's like I felt like there was so much of the humor and jokes that I kind of missed as a kid.
Yeah.
And kind of the situation.
Yeah, right.
Characterization of these characters.
Yeah, because same with me. Because I think it was a movie that didn't really resonate with me as a kid, but as I've gotten older, it's something that actually really does now. Now that I've had dogs in it, and I've had a dog that's actually passed away, and I've been through all that, so I can definitely resonate a little more. So, and the movie, it was released on July 28th, 1989. So that's 31 years ago. So hope it doesn't make you feel too old, but
a little bit. I was born in #84, so yeah.
Yeah.
Smidge just turned 36, November 28th. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. I am also a child of the 80s, so yep. But in the movie, it was directed by a guy named it was Roger Spottiswoode. So he's directed some movies. He hasn't really directed a lot, but some of his more recognizable one. He directed the movie The Sixth Day with Arnold Schwarzenegger. He directed Tomorrow Never Dies, so he directed a James Bond movie, and then he also directed the classic Stop or My Mom Will Shoot, which is famously known to be like like a terrible movie. I think I've seen bits and pieces of it, but
I remember seeing that movie. The movie was fun.
yeah. And then he
I don't
also
remember
directed,
hating it. I mean, yeah, it was fun.
yeah. And then also he directed Air America, which stars Mel Gibson and Robert Downey Jr.
That is such a damn good movie.
Yeah, and then he also directed
And based on real things too, real events.
Right, yeah. And then he also directed the movie The Best of Times, which also has Robert Downey Jr. and then Kurt Russell also. So those are some of his like most notable movies that he's done. And just to give you a quick synopsis about what the movie actually is about. So a detective, Scott Turner, played by Tom Hanks, is an upright, by-the-book police officer who hopes to leave his sleepy California town and work in the big city. When his friend Amos Reed, played by John McIntyre, the proprietor of a junkyard, is killed, Turner reluctantly inherits the man's dog, realizing that the canine may be able to help him solve the murder case. Turner attempts to adjust to the life with the big dog, resulting in much household destruction and unwelcome chaos. So there's a lot of that in that, which we'll get into in a little bit. But I also have so now it's game time. I got a little bit of a game for you. So this is just a little the quick game that I like to do every episode. So
okay.
So this is called Guess the Rotten Tomatoes score. So what do you think that the critics gave Turner and Hooch on Rotten Tomatoes? Like 100.
That's hard. So
it's a tough one because I don't know, like there's like parts of it that like seems like things the critics would like, but other parts not so much. So
I mean, I want to say that the critics probably gave it a pretty high rating because on the hand you have the romantic relationship, you have Scott's you have Tom Hanks' in-depth character, you have the interaction with the dog, which is funny at times. You got humor. So I'm kind of curious, what did they give it?
Well, you got to make a guess first.
So what does the score rating fall between?
Between one and 100, and you have to get a 60% to be considered fresh on Rotten Tomatoes, but it's just between 1 and 100.
So I'm gonna guess that. So with everything I said, I'm gonna guess it's probably an 80%.
Kind of close, but not so much. So the critics gave it actually a 52%. So they did not rate it fresh. So they liked it, but I think they didn't love it. Probably that's probably what it was. So
really trust Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, I don't know. I just like to kind of throw it in there for
Oh, I know. It definitely makes things interesting because movies you think like they're gonna love that they do, and then they hate it, and you're like, why? But then movies you can't stand, they absolutely love.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the critics gave it 52%, but then can you guess what the audience gave it? There's an audience out of 100. Do you think they were pretty in line with the critics, or were they off?
I mean,
because sometimes they have a big gap, but sometimes not.
I'm gonna guess it wasn't that far apart. It was probably like 70.
So the audience actually gave it a 51%. So they did 1% lower. Yeah. So I can kind of see, like, it does have, it's like cheesy kind of campiness from here and there. So but for the most part, I think that it's a solid Tom Hanks movie. It's Tom Hanks. Almost every movie he's ever made has been good. He's rarely made a bad movie. So.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but so I was just gonna go over some of the cast. So you have Tom Hanks who he inherits the big dog Hooch, and it's after his Hooch's owner in the junkyard, he gets killed, and so you have the scene where I don't know if it's necessarily that he's meeting him for the first time. I think he's had a few interactions because there's.
He's a lot of interactions with them.
Yeah, there's been a lot of crime down on the docks and stuff. So he lives in a junkyard kind of down near the docks. And so Hooch's owner, he gets murdered. And so Tom Hanks, as his last case before he moves to the big city, which I think it's San Francisco he's moving to.
Yes, he is.
Yeah, but he really wants to solve this case. And so you see the police chief, they weren't going to give it to him, but then he says, come on, this is my last case. I mean, I've been here like so many years. I think he's been there like 20, 30 years with the department. So they decided to give it to him. He has his partner who's played by Reginald VelJohnson. You'll know him as the dad from Family Matters. He's also in like Die Hard. He's in a few other movies, but he is a new cop on the force, kind of like a rookie, and as a detective, and so he's kind of shown him all the ropes, teaching him different techniques, how to find certain criminals and different things, and so they go on this like sort of like an adventure to try and track down the guys that murdered Hooch's owner Amos, and then along the way there's a lot of hijinks with the dog. He just kind of like really makes Tom Hanks' life hard because he decides to take him in. One of the scenes that I really like when they first meet, like he like comes and like grabs him around the neck, and then you see later on some of the other policemen try to wrangle the dog, and he's like, I wouldn't do that, like I wouldn't get that close. And he really like goes after him and like does the same thing to the other cops. So awesome. yeah, that's pretty funny, but some of the scenes that probably are my most favorite in this movie are just Tom Hanks getting acquainted to life with this big giant dog. And actually, one of the fun facts I wanted to share: the breed of dog he's called a Doge de Bordeaux. So like it's a French breed, but it's like kind of similar to I don't know, it's like a Mastiff kind of like that. And so
right.
So in a dog, they said he weighs 110 pounds, so that's pretty big for a dog. So, but yeah, just seeing their interaction, like that, like there's like so many scenes where they're just kind of staring at each other and like giving each other just all kinds of like dirty looks, and then you see the scene where he's introducing it to the house, and he's like showing them all the different rooms, and he's like, all right, this is my bedroom, this is where I sleep. This is not your room. Then he goes over to like the next room. He's like, this is where all my stereo equipment is. This is where I watch TV. This is not your room. The kitchen. This is not your room. But then he just shoves him in some closet, kind of like a mud room kind of area. Mm-hmm. And he's like, this is your room. Have fun. And just like shuts the door because like
right.
Because near the beginning, he hasn't really built that real bond with him yet. It's not till later in the movie.
Oh yeah.
Build that up. So he's just like, I got to deal with this dog because he's got nowhere else to go.
Right. Oh, and I love that scene where then he just breaks his way through that door and
right, that is awesome.
Goes on a just destroying, like it's amazing. It really, really is. Same time, it's like I don't know how I live with that dog.
Yeah, this is the case. Just one more reason why I do not want to have a dog. I don't like animals that shed a lot. I don't like when they tear stuff up and they drool all over and make huge messes. But my wife Shannon, she really wants a dog, and probably even more so a cat. I think she wants. But
oh yeah, we definitely want when we can. We want probably at least 3 kitty cats.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. So
I do like dogs, but I mean, and I love dogs. Dogs are awesome, but I probably just me personally, I'm gonna not own a dog.
Yeah, me neither. Like I'm
just because I feel like I don't think like personally I'm home enough to like take care of a dog.
Right. Yeah, they need a little more attention. Whereas cats can basically take care of themselves, like essentially.
I agree. I mean, you also have to be there, but still.
Yeah, you want to be there for them, but like they can like go out and hunt down their own food. They can clean themselves. They can do some of those things, So
right.
But like I remember when I was watching it with my wife Shannon, she's like, oh, like I shouldn't have shown you this movie. Like you're never gonna want to have a dog now after seeing this. but maybe you never know. We actually just really moved it into a little bit bigger place now, so we have a little more room. So it's a
It's a
possibility.
nice place for a dog, buddy. Just saying.
Yeah, right.
Nudge, nudge, Shannon.
Yeah, right.
I agree. You guys should have a dog.
Of course, yeah. But
Get a lab or get like a golden retriever, dude.
yeah, or like for me, I'd probably get a breed that doesn't shed. Like my grandparents, they had a miniature schnauzer that was like one of the coolest dogs. That it was like super smart, and he would never shed, but you had to take him to the groomer and get his hair cut.
Does not count as a dog. Sorry.
All right. No, of course not.
If it can fit in your purse and you can take it somewhere, it doesn't count as a dog.
It was bigger than that. It was like a medium-sized dog, so it was a decent.
Okay,
size.
you said miniature, so I imagined like the woman going to the store and carrying a dog in her purse.
Yeah, well, not quite that small, but he kind of looked like the dog from Lady and the Tramp, but like
Okay, that does sound kind of adorable.
But also though, like about half the size though. So
Right.
So, yeah, but or also Lady and the I think it's Lady in the Tramp. It might be 101 Dalmatians where they have the little schnauzer where they're kind of low to the ground and then they have a little mustache thing and they're always sniffing around like that. Yeah, that's the kind of dog that it was. But
nice.
Yeah, and
back to the movie.
Yeah, right. But one of the funniest things though about the scene when he's just tearing things apart, especially like when he goes for the stereo too, I'm just like, no, if you went for that.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Like,
all the records and everything he just wrecks with his. Oh.
Yeah. And he even gets in the refrigerator and he starts cracking open beers and he's like drinking all the beers and all that. But then at the same time, you have Tom Hanks. He's at the store trying to buy a bunch of supplies for his dog.
Right.
And so he's like trying to figure out, like he's looking at like a little like small can of
dog food,
like canned dog food, and he's like, like you know which one I should get? And he asks the store clerk, and he's like, what kind of dog do you have? And he tells them like how big the dog actually is. And he's like, you're gonna need this.
You're gonna need this massive bag.
Yeah, like literally like the biggest bag that they have, and he's just like, here you go. It's like okay then.
And then he's like, you need these chew toys, you need this stuff, you need this, you need he's like, I get some like general wash stuff. He's like, no, you need this high concentrated wash.
Yeah, right.
And flea and tick removal. Yeah.
Yeah, and then he's like, chew toys. Why do I need to get him any chew toys? He's like, well, unless you want him chewing up all your shoes and like half of everything in your home, and they literally like clears the whole entire shelf. He's like, all right, we're getting them all. But then when he gets to the register, he's like checking out, and they're like, that'll be $97.81 or something. He's like, what? $97.81? $97.81? Like seriously?
For
like,
dog stuff?
Yeah, he's like, what am I buying? Smoked salmon here or something? Come on, like. Yeah, even like I had the actual quote. Oh yeah. Like 97.51, is that in pesos? Come on. Like what the frick? But yeah, it's gonna cost you a little bit to have a dog, especially a big one. So you're in for a bit of a ride with that one. But over the course of the movie, like so like there's a scene where he's up barking all night long and like he just keeps barking. He comes out screaming. He's like shut up, seriously, what is wrong with you? Shut up. And then you have the neighbors, you start yelling. They're like hey, I'm trying to sleep here or something. But then so he comes out in the middle of the night in his underwear, and then the dog sees an opportunity, sees that they left the back door open, so he just sprints for the back door, and it slams behind him. So he's locked out in his underwear. Like, and
absolutely hilarious.
And like one of the funny things Shannon kind of pointed out to me, Tom Hanks is in his underwear a lot in this movie.
He is
funny. Like you always see him like waking up in the middle of the night. Just see him. I don't know, just randomly in his underwear. I don't know why, but that's just like a random thing that she noticed. But on one of the nights where the dog actually runs off. He actually runs over to a veterinarian hospital place where he like where they have a pet door on the front door, so he just runs through and runs up the stairs to this lady. And then, a long story short, Tom Hanks, I don't think he really wants to be in a relationship because he's getting ready to move to a new place. He's not really at a point where he really wants a relationship, but he ends up falling for the veterinarian who actually has a dog of her own, which at the end, spoiler alert, because this movie is 31 years old, we're going to give spoilers, but they have puppies by the end, which is kind of cool. So, but
you didn't spoil too much. And also, so if we are going to talk about that, because so he first meets the veterinarian when he gets the dog and he doesn't quite know what to do with it because it's just kind of wrecked everything. Doesn't he then take it over to the veterinarian's house?
Oh yeah, I think that's right. So when he runs back, it's after he already went there once. Yeah, and I think he wants to maybe even get rid of the dog in the first place. He's like, "You take him. I don't want him." Yeah.
And that was another scene when the dog gives a headache. He decides to just like during the middle of the night, he just tries to sneak it into the house.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. So
then there's that really romantic scene where he helps her paint the kitchen.
Oh yeah, he like helps paint, and then he kind of gets a little obsessed with it. He's like, "So, like when we paint in the other bedroom or something." So he's like planning like more dates with her because in the first place, like she asked him out,
right,
and then he's just like no, because if I went out with you, and then I'd really start to like you, and then I'd end up falling for you, and then I'd have to take you out on dates, and then we end up getting married, and like I'm just not ready for any of that yet. Yeah.
Then you get sick and tired of me because I'm kind of neurotic. Everyone gets tired of me.
Yeah, right. Yep. But over the course of the movie, you really see that Tom Hanks build a bond with Hooch, and one of my other favorite scenes too is when he brings Hooch into work with him because after he destroyed his house, he's not going to leave him home anymore to just destroy it again. So he brings him to work, and he ties him up to the leg of the desk. And there's a part where I think the dog farts or something, and it like goes through the heating vent, so everyone starts smelling like that dog fart or whatever.
I think so. Yeah.
And then he's looking at out the window. Hooch is the dog, and he sees a wedding going on down below, and so he like looked, and he actually notices the guy that actually killed his owner at the wedding. So he starts barking and just like just going crazy, and then he starts dragging Tom Hanks' desk through the office because he's such a huge dog. He's causing chaos all through the office. But then finally he realizes that like, no, this dog's actually smart, and he remembers what happened, and so he can use him to actually help him solve this case. And so pretty much from like then on out, like he always has him by his side. They go on a stakeout, and he brings the dog, and he's asking him all kinds of like crazy questions. Like he said something about saliva. I can't remember what he said. He's like, "Do you have a use for that? You use it for like some like."
I love that whole stakeout scene. Yes,
like for some industrial strength lubricant or something like that. You know,
that whole stakeout scene with the dog is hilarious. I love that his incoming partner, because as you said earlier, Tom Hanks is getting ready to leave. This is his last case. Doesn't really care as much about it. You know, of course, as we said, he gets really attached to the dog, but his partner the whole time is the lead actor, of course, from Family Matters and Die Hard. But I was so excited to see him in that role. So it's pretty awesome how many movies he's actually still doing today.
Right, I know.
I don't know if you looked at his IMDb, but yeah, he's pretty busy.
Yeah, he's in quite a few different things. Yeah, I think it was like about 80 or 90 like credits that he has on IMDb, something like that. Yeah, but like one of my other favorite scenes is when he sees the guy at the wedding. He goes chasing after him, and then Tom Hanks and his partner, they go after him, and then they like commandeer some guy's car, like just some like random like I don't know, looks like a 19, 20-year-old guy that's driving this car. And so they like jump in, and they make him sit in the back with with the dog, and the dog right up in his face, and he's like, "Oh, okay, like what's going on? Awkward." It's like, "Get me out of here," kind of thing. But yeah, this is pretty funny. But then I'm just trying to think of like what were some of the other like iconic scenes. Like at the end when they finally solved the one of the big cases. I mean, well, actually, I don't think they actually solved it, but he identified who the killer was, and so he gives them a little reward. He gives them some like special food, and then he cracks open a beer for them, and they're like sitting there having a conversation, you know. So that's kind of one of the big bonding moments, also.
Yeah. There's a great moment with him and his partner when he's first in the car. He's like, when he talks to him about the folders, remember? He's all first showing him what to do. He's like, it's important to put them in different folders. Why does this matter?
Yeah, right. Yeah, and he's like, why does that matter? Like, I'm talking to a dog. Come on. But one of the fun facts that I came across, actually, so like that scene when he has him in the car and he has to run into work really quick. When he comes out, he like chewed up the like whole like back seat of the car, and so he's like, oh no, you chewed up the whole back seat. Come on. But then one of the things that I actually found out, they actually made a little animation for Pixar with Tom Hanks as Woody, and they inserted all the dialogue from that scene where he chews up the back of the seat of the car. So you can actually find it on YouTube. They have it.
What? That is hilarious.
Yeah, you can see like Woody saying that, going like, "Oh no, not the back seat. Come on."
But I love that. And he's like, you know what? Cool. It doesn't matter. You can chew up what you want, buddy.
Yeah, right.
The car's not going to be mine anyway soon.
Yeah, oh yeah, so he's just like, you're gonna chew up the back seat anyways. Yeah. So there's nothing I can do.
An interesting fact about the dog: producers first looked at 50 different breeds to determine which would make the best hooch. Determining which breed of dog would make the perfect partner for Tom Hanks was no easy task. We looked at 50 different breeds: Airedales, Shepherds, Rottweilers. Dog trainer stuntman Clint Rowe said they wanted a dog that was big but not overly big. Filmmakers settled on Torgay de Bourreau. Fewer than 300 of the breed were in the United States when the film came out.
Oh, wow.
Interesting. So that obviously inspired probably lots of other people to get that kind of dog, I would imagine.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And I think that it like probably wouldn't really work as well if they had any kind of smaller dog. You kind of need to have a big dog for this role. But and also at the same time that this movie came out too, like it's one of those things where like one movie gets released and then another similar one. So like kind of like when you have Armageddon and Deep Impact, or like the two similar ones, or you have like White House Down and then like Olympus Has Fallen. Some of those.
Oh yeah.
Just so similar. So with this one, you had Turner and Hooch. And you had that movie K9 that had Jim Belushi in it. So
yeah.
Yeah. So that movie was released. I think it said. So it was released 3 months earlier. So they had heard that they're going to make this movie with Tom Hanks, and they wanted to beat him to the punch. They released their movie 3 months earlier. And then also, too, they even had a pilot film that I don't think it ever aired, but it was a pilot for a TV series starring Thomas F. Wilson. So he plays Biff from Back to the Future.
Oh, yeah.
He was going to play in the Tom Hanks role. They filmed the pilot, and they were going to debut it as part of the Magical World of Disney they used to have.
Wow.
So, but then for some reason it never happened. So it must have been bad. Probably. That's just my only guess. They never wanted to show it, but
that would have been a weird difference.
Yeah, that would have been like totally weird because I don't know, like I can see Tom Hanks having a real soft spot for him. It's a little tougher to see Biff having a real soft spot for the dog, but you never know.
Yeah. So we were talking, or you kind of mentioned off before this even started. So there's another director that was supposed to direct this before it was released. You said he's pretty famous.
Yeah. So originally they're actually going to have Henry Winkler direct the movie. he actually started, but he was fired 10 days into shooting. There's kind of a little funny quote that like Henry Winkler gave in an interview. He said, Henry Winkler said, let's just say that I got along with Hooch, but not Turner. So it's like pretty much it. So maybe him and Tom Hanks kind of clashed. I don't know.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. But
that's one of my prized possessions is my Henry Winkler autograph.
Oh, nice! You have a Henry Winkler autograph. I didn't even know.
I do.
Nice. That's very cool.
Yeah.
Nice. And then also it was known that Touchstone Pictures acquired the screenplay for Turner and Hooch for $1 million, which was the highest amount ever paid by Touchstone for a script at that time. So
wow.
Of Touchstone, yeah, they paid.
That's cool.
Yeah, so I mean, they had faith in it. So
yeah,
to pay $1 million, but
it's definitely to me like it didn't feel Disney to me, if that makes sense.
Right.
Because you had language in there, you had guns, I feel like all those things sort of don't really make a Disney movie. And that was kind of maybe one of the reasons why I liked it maybe a little bit more, actually.
Yeah. I would agree, yeah. Yeah. One of the things I really like too, so it's also known that they use multiple dogs in the making of it. So they use a few different dogs, and Tom Hanks actually went out and spent quality time with every single dog before the movie because he wanted to, because they always have to have a trainer on set, and usually if the dog's a little more used to a trainer, then when you're trying to shoot scenes, the dog's gonna be looking off screen over at the trainer, kind of like distracted, looking at like the person that he knows. So he wanted to build a little bit of a relationship with the dog, so he would look to him and not just stare off at the trainer the whole time. So
then did he have a clicker?
Yeah, he had a little clicker too. Yeah, that would
kind of train them to kind of work with the dogs. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so the clicker would kind of train him to like do things on cue and to kind of keep their his attention like at Tom Hanks, you know. So yeah, Oh, and also too that they say that the hardest thing to train the dog to do was surprisingly when the dog grabbed his throat. That was one of the like hardest. The dog didn't want to do it, and also to drink beer too, because Tom Hanks he had a quote. He said we could get him to crack open the beer, but he wouldn't drink it, so we had to use chicken soup, is what they used, I guess. So, which is kind of a random fact about that, but oh, and also too. So the main dog, his name was Beasley, what they named him, and he had a habit of running off on set, so they had to like really keep a close eye on him, because if they didn't, he would take off. So, which is like, I definitely had a dog like that. Like if you left the front door open, my dog would just bolt out the front door and down the street and off in the distance. Yeah. Like, then we all be sad because we were. All just young kids were like, our dog just ran away, but like he would always come back. He just went to go explore the neighborhood or whatever.
Right.
So, and then the only other fun fact that I had was I also have another upcoming TV series, Turner and Hooch, that's coming out on Disney Plus soon. So, but when I looked at the cast are basically all unknown people. I never heard of anyone, but that is coming out. I think sometime this year. I want to say either this year or 2022. So it'll be.
That's gonna be interesting to see what they do, considering I love the cast in this.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah.
And so speaking of the cast, I just kind of wanted to just go over some of the main cast. So obviously you have Tom Hanks. So I'll just start with him. So I went through all of his filmography, and then I listed all the movies that I have seen of Tom Hanks, and all the ones that I haven't seen, which surprisingly there's a fair amount of Tom Hanks movies that I haven't seen yet. But I have seen Castaway, Big, Forrest Gump, Apollo 13, all the Toy Story movies, Greyhound, A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood, Splash, Sleepless in Seattle, That Thing You Do, The Polar Express, Bridge of Spies, Cloud Atlas, Saving Private Ryan, Larry Crown, The Da Vinci Code trilogy, the Terminal, Saving Mr. Banks, Captain Phillips, and The Money Pit. So I've seen all of those, but then he has more movies that I haven't seen. So the ones that I haven't ever seen yet, I've not seen The Post, The Circle.
You haven't seen the Burbs?
No, I haven't seen the Burbs either. I heard that one's actually pretty
The
good.
Burbs is one of those really weird 80s movies, man.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
Yeah.
It kind of came out at the same time as The Money Pit, which like that one's kind of like 80s totally. But
Right.
and then I haven't seen The News of the World. That one just came out this last December.
So I've not seen that yet, but I was talking to a friend of mine earlier today, and he said it's actually really good. Yeah.
Oh, cool. Awesome. Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing it. I know it's playing in theaters. If you live in a place where movie theaters are actually open, which where I live, they're not open. So, but I think that
we have a couple that are open. So the Village Cinema is open right now. The Majestic, Overland Park, Eagle Lux. Yeah.
Okay. Nice. And then I've not seen A Hologram for the King. I haven't seen Sully. The Lady Killers.
You haven't seen Sully? That movie's so good.
Yeah. I mean, it looks good. It's just one of those movies that like there's so many movies to see, so I can only gotta find time for them.
A very limited amount of time to see all the ones you want to see. Yeah.
Yep. Right. Then I've not seen On the Road to Perdition.
Ooh, Road to Perdition is so good.
Yeah.
That's an amazing movie.
Or The Green Mile. I've not seen that one either.
Yeah.
I haven't seen Philadelphia.
I haven't seen that one either.
And then some of his older ones, like The Bonfire of the Vanities, The Burbs, and The Man with One Red Shoe.
Love The Man with One Red Shoe.
Yeah, I haven't seen it. And then I haven't seen Charlie Wilson's War, Dragnet, and he has a very early movie called Nothing in Common, where he stars with Jackie Gleason.
Ooh.
And then also he's in the TV show Bosom Buddies. That's kind of where he got his start. And then he made small cameos in the HBO series. He was in Band of Brothers for a little bit, which I have seen. The Band of Brothers.
Love that show. The Pacific is amazing.
Yep, that was my next one. In the Pacific, which I actually haven't seen the Pacific, but I've seen all the Band of Brothers. When I watched it with my grandparents, I remember that they got the collector's set in like the little tin box that you can get for a Band of Brothers. So, yep. So, but out of all those, probably if I could pick a couple of favorites, though, probably my favorite for sure for Tom Hanks movies of all time is Forrest Gump. I love Forrest Gump. Like that's one of my all-time favorites. And then probably say I'm just looking to see. I probably also Castaway. I love Castaway too. So, but like, what would you say, Chris? Like, what are some of your favorites? Thanks.
All right, so we're gonna go look through here. I kind of had some ideas off the top of my head when you were kind of talking. Then everyone's like, really? You're just waiting to figure out what you like from him? I mean, so I did see A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood. That was amazing.
Yeah,
with him playing Mr. Rogers.
That'd be my number 3 if I could pick 3. Yep.
But I mean, one of my absolute favorites is definitely oh my god, a Terminal. Terminal's an amazing movie.
Yeah, I remember watching that movie like so many times when I used to work at Hollywood Video back when those were a thing. They had the Terminal there, and I probably rented that like 3 or 4 times.
Oh, I saw it. I've seen it like 10, 20 times. I love that movie so much. It's just an incredible story. Just I love how talented Tom Hanks is, because I mean, he's portraying this man and he just pours himself into that role.
Yeah.
And I love him in the Da Vinci Code.
Yeah.
I've read all those books, and he is the perfect he just does a great job in that role.
Yeah. And also, too, one of the cool things is, so my dad read all the Da Vinci Code books, and he actually, like mentioned to me that just as like a little experiment, he said you don't necessarily have to read those books in order. Like if you want to read the second one, so forget the name of the second one, but actually read the second one first, then went to the first one just to like try his little experiment out, and it actually worked pretty well. Like actually like enjoyed them that way, and I didn't really feel like I was missing anything. So it's kind
But
of
probably
interesting way
one of
to do
my
it.
okay, so one of my number one favorite Tom Hanks is You've Got Mail.
Oh yeah,
Absolutely one of my favorite movies.
it's a classic with Meg Ryan.
Yes.
Yep.
But it's hard to, it's like looking through his cast is just like, it's
Yeah,
ridiculous
like
the number of movies he's done
yeah, he's
and continues to do.
right. He's a legend for sure. He's America's dad, is what everyone says. So.
Right. I mean, just like, so like in this movie, where he has moments with a dog where he's just trying to like sleep, get some kind of semblance of like existence. He's trying to still do well. You see all those raw emotions, and it's just awesome.
Yep. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Oh, and also too, I got to give a shout out to Saving Private Ryan, which funny enough, like so I've seen bits and pieces of Saving Private Ryan when it came on TV, but I never saw all the way through actually until last year's. Like
Such a great movie.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah. So that one's definitely amazing. Yeah, I love that.
It really is.
But yeah, and then also too, I don't think that that this review would be complete if we didn't talk about when Hooch actually dies. Spoiler alert, because he actually does, and that's one of the fun facts too. So there's actually an alternate ending. So they're trying to decide if they're gonna have him die or if they're gonna have him make a miraculous recovery where you like think he's dead, and then like at the very last minute, like oh, he's still alive, like he survived, but I think that the director, Roger Spottiswoode, he said that he kind of thought about it for about 24 hours, like he wasn't really sure what to do, and then he kind of thought ultimately like he would have a little more meaning if he actually died, because then you get to see all the emotion from Tom Hanks. It kind of just gives the movie a little more meaning and some higher stakes, kind of.
Right. So. And actually, apparently, Hanks took responsibility for killing Hooch, and I said it was a mistake. If you weren't a fan of the controversial ending, you now know who to blame. I have to make a confession. I was the main proponent of killing Hooch, Hanks said during a BBC Radio 5 interview. It was a Disney movie, and first when we were putting it together, I stood up on a table and pounded my fist and said in a grand Disney tradition of Old Yeller, Hooch must die. And so they killed Hooch. We killed Hooch, and we never should have. Should have, I guess, kept that doggy alive. But it's like, I think that ending is so pivotal to Hanks's character and showing his growth with someone that really didn't care about dogs, going to someone that obviously fell in love with this woman and also was, found a friend.
Yep, exactly.
So he was destroyed when this dog died, and when this dog sacrifices himself.
Yeah, he sacrificed himself because so essentially he jumps in front of a bullet for Tom Hanks, and so he takes the bullet, and so that's how he dies.
I definitely straight ugly sobbed.
Yep, sure.
Absolutely.
Yep, for sure.
Yeah.
But at the end, though, you get to see that he actually had some puppies, and so Tom Hanks takes one of the puppies with a little bit of a time lapse, and you see the puppy probably, I want to say, I don't know, maybe like 2 years old and 1 year old, something like that. So you get to see when he has the dog, and you see him inside of a closet, and you think, oh, like maybe he actually survived after all. Like, are we going to see that he's still alive? But you see there's one of his puppies, which is still pretty cool, though.
Oh my gosh, that's so awesome! Yeah,
yeah. So
it really is. It's a perfect ending to the movie, and all around, contrary to what Rotten Tomatoes did, and contrary to what the viewers did. I mean, I would probably say it's a must own.
Right.
I mean, based on my ratings, 5 out of 5 plus.
Okay.
That's you when I give movie ratings. I mean, I don't know how you feel about it.
Usually for me, I go out of 10, but I did want to though. Before I'm going to give it a little suspense before I give mine, because there's a couple other actors I just wanted to mention.
Oh yeah, sorry.
No, you're good. No, it's all right. But there's a couple others. So you have Mary Wingham, which is spelled Mare, so it might be Mare, it might be Mary. I'm not totally sure, but she plays the vet that he falls in love with, and she has a decent. Well, actually, no. So she actually has a huge filmography, but the thing is,
Yeah.
I really hadn't heard of though. But there's a
Right,
few.
me either.
Yeah, so like she was in St. Elmo's Fire, which I have not seen.
Absolutely a classic.
Yeah, and then she was in the movie Dark Waters, which is one that came out last year that has Mark Ruffalo. And I think that it's about like I want to say that it was about the Flint, Michigan water crisis, but I'm not totally sure.
I am looking right now
about dumping chemicals into like someone's water system, but it's a true story.
Yes, it is. A corporate defense attorney takes on an environmental lawsuit against a chemical company that exposes a lengthy bit of pollution. Although that is not, yeah, this is Mark Ruffalo. Yeah.
Yeah. Huh?
And I love that I pronounced his last name incorrectly, horribly.
Rufio. Yeah.
Rufio. Rufio.
Rufio. But and then also she had some roles in a few TV shows. She was in that show Under the Dome. She was in American Horror Story, and then she was also in ER, I guess, back in the day. Like she's one of the main original cast members from ER. So, and then also too, she let's see. Oh yeah, she also plays the mom from the movie the War. So that's a movie that there's Elijah Wood and Kevin Costner. It's a movie like from my childhood that I grew up watching with my parents a few times, which is like a cool kind of fun coming of age movie with Elijah Wood. So they it's actually one of my favorite movies from my childhood. They build this tree house and they take on another ragtag a group of kids. So like him and all of his friends essentially go to war with some other neighborhood kids. So it's pretty fun. But
I do not remember that movie.
Yeah, it's good. Like it's kind of one of those that kind of like flew under the radar a little bit. But
you'll have to send me a link or more information about that because I want to check that out.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, definitely. But and then also too, you have Craig T. Nelson. So you obviously know him from Coach. That's like where he's most famous. But also too, he's the voice of Mr. Incredible from The Incredibles. He was in the movie Get Hard with Kevin Hart and Will Ferrell. He ends up playing the villain in that movie. He's in The Proposal. He plays the dad. Like he ends up being in a lot of rom-coms as like one of the parents. So like he's always
he was in The Skulls.
Yeah, he was in The Skulls. Yep.
And Devil's Advocate.
Yep, he's in Devil's Advocate. Yep, and then he also played the dad in the show Parenthood. He was in that.
Oh yeah.
And then also, one of his more famous roles, he was also Poltergeist. He was the dad from Poltergeist. So those are pretty much his most notable roles. Oh yeah, he's also in the movie Blades of Glory. He was the coach from Blades of Glory too. So, and then also you have Reginald Bill Johnson, who's the dad from Family Matters. And then he's also in Die Hard 1 and 2. He plays Sergeant Powell, I think, and Vic Powell is what it is. But and then also I didn't know this one. He had a small role in Ghostbusters. He was a jail guard in Ghostbusters, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, I saw that earlier.
Yeah, and then he was also played a cop again. So he plays cops in like quite a few roles. He was the cop in the show Girl Meets World, which I watched that because I'm a huge Boy Meets World fan. that's my favorite TV show of all time. So and then also he was a voice in the animated series Tron Uprising, which I actually love that series. Like I love that series. Like it's like one of those movies that kind of builds off of the like Tron series, but it has its own like very unique animation style. So
I've never seen that. That sounds cool.
yeah, for some people the animation style might take a little getting used to, but like besides that though, like it's an incredible show. Yeah, and then also he has a role in a movie that I'm like fairly excited about. Like I really wish that. I think this movie's about 15, 20 years too late, but they're doing another Crocodile Dundee movie called The Very Excellent Mr. Dundee, but Paul Hogan's now like, I don't know, like in his 80s or something, but he's gonna be in that movie too. So
Very cool.
But yeah, so I'll just wrap it up with just giving my my score. So after thinking about it, I didn't really like decided it until probably right now, but probably I'd give it about a 7 out of 10, just because like I really liked it. Like I mean, when I go through the rest of Tom Hanks' IMDb, like I can probably pick at least 10 movies I like a little better than Turner and Hooch, probably because he just has a stacked filmography. Like he's just done so many movies, but I give it a 7 out of 10. So I would definitely say check it out for sure. I would probably say like if you want to own it, like if you can find it like for cheap, which I mean that's probably the only way. If you're gonna find it, it's gonna be pretty cheap by now. So I think it's worth picking up. So
yeah, for sure.
But yeah. So yeah, that's all I've got for Turner and Hooch. So we'll end things there. So Chris, where can the people find you?
The people can find me. Well, do you want to throw up the ticker maybe?
Oh yeah. So I actually meant to.
No, that's all right.
Under our time, so I'm going to start here. I'll throw up that ticker too, but there's that little bit that.
Yeah, so I'm on Twitter at writer, WRITER_84.
Yep.
And also I have an Instagram, which is really easy to get to me at.
Yeah, so there's some more of our information. The email. Yeah. So if you email us, actually, you can email us at moviehero2121 at gmail.com. If you do, you can ask us questions. If you have any ideas, maybe something we should do for one of our other shows, maybe Cheer Rank or Fight, you got any ideas for it, then we'll give you a shout out on the show and we'll mention your name and throw up your question on there. So definitely to reach out there. And for me, you can find me always on this channel on Movie Hero. We do several different shows. We obviously mentioned Tier Ranker Fights. And then I have a new series called 1v200 where I actually interviewed Chris and then interviewed my dad.
Which we'll eventually record part 2 of the interview, but it was absolutely a lot of fun. And I did watch the interview you did with your dad. It was really interesting.
Yeah. So like it's a good way to get a deep dive on the life of some of the people in my life. And then I'm going to try and get some people from the Schmodown space also eventually to be able to interview. We just ask them 200 questions, semi-rapid fire style. There, I mean, there's some we go quick through, and then there's somewhere where we kind of dive a little deeper into.
Absolutely.
So you can find that on the Movie Hero channel, and then also I got to give a little shout out. I started doing for right now it's a bit of a guest spot, but I'm hoping that it turns into something permanent. Fingers crossed. But there's a channel called TMG Entertainment. You can find it on YouTube, and they have a show every Saturday at 8 p.m. Pacific called TMG After Dark. You can find it just kind of shooting the breeze, just talking about all the movie news from the week and our thoughts on it, but kind of like in a more just relaxed style. We just kind of talk about like what went on that day, like what our week's been like. We'll like get off on some tangents, and we just kind of have fun, just like talking about whatever comes to our heads. So yeah, you can find me over there. And then also we got a new Facebook group that is It's called Schmodown Friends and Family. So basically, in my mind, I think that the Schmodown has the best community on the entire internet. The Schmodown's awesome. And if you'd like to know more about the movie Trivia Schmodown, definitely go over to Schmodown Friends and Family.
Yeah.
You get the information that you want to know about that.
Absolutely.
A trivia show that basically combines movie trivia with all the personalities of like professional wrestling and that sort of thing. But then also it's just a place where anyone who's a member can just post about whatever they want to. If they have any projects they're working on, if they have any other YouTube channels, anything, then that's the place for it. So you can post all that stuff there, and we just kind of build each other up and support each other. And then also we got a little tournament going where we're trying to determine our favorite comedic actor / stand-up comedian of all time. And I got a poll that's actually going up right after I finish this, that I'm going to throw it up in the group. So there'll be something to vote on over there, so you can look forward to that.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please give, of course, as you watch this, a like, and please share it as well. It definitely helps us, because yes, it's nice. I enjoy talking with my best friend Jordan. I've known this guy for a long time about movies, but it'd be nice to have people watch it as well. So
yep.
Please
yeah, for sure. Yep, and next week we got another episode of BlindSpots too. I forgot to mention we're going to be covering Shoot, and that's not it's not coming right to my head. The Pixar animated one. Onward. Sorry, I should know what my content's going to be about. Come on, but yeah, we're going to be going over Onward. So I watched that recently, and so we're going to be doing a review next week for that. So that's what's coming up. But anyways, for BlindSpots, this has been Chris, the Casablanca Kid, and I've been Jordan, Movie Hero Anderson, and we will see you next time.
See ya.